RoadCraft is the newest construction simulation game made by Saber Interactive. With intuitive and in-depth gameplay, this relaxing game aims to entertain you with a charm you wouldn't find on a construction site. But with a $40 price tag, is it worth the price to play? Let's dive right in. The gameplay is fun with friends. It can be sluggish by yourself, but regardless, getting a game like this, you should know that you're not getting into a fast-paced FPS type game. With that being said, playing this with friends is a blast, and at least for me personally, even playing it alone is a blast. And that's saying a lot because I work in construction. So for me to want to come home and play a game about construction says a lot. This game gets a lot of things right. The game just gives you the freedom to do whatever you want. Yes, there is a main storyline, but it isn't being shoved down your throat. You can untrack it at any point and just goof around the map, or focus on side missions, or just see where you can get without taking a road. On top of that, they once again nailed the realism for a lot of the machinery, and how things operate just on the average construction site. But also taking away some of the irritations from previous games, such as there isn't wear and tear that you have to maintain, but you still have to be careful. RoadCraft is a genuine, good mix of realism and fun. It finds that perfect balance just in the middle. The gameplay is an 8 out of 10. Now on to the story. There isn't really a story per se, but they do give you a reason for each map that you're working on, and what you're doing for the main objectives. They will also give you a brief line of dialogue or two for the side missions to say, here's something you can do. And I think most people would probably agree with me that these games have never been very centered around the story. This is a feel-good, relaxing game, and you don't need any kind of emotional stakes or dramatic moments to get you to enjoy the game. Simply sit back, relax, and enjoy the feisty redhead that leaves comments about how shoddy a job you're doing. With that, the story is a 4 out of 10. On to the graphics. The graphics are pristine. Even with it set to performance mode, the game still looks amazing. There will be times you'll be driving down the road in your bulldozer, or hauling sand with your dump truck, and you're just looking around at the scenery thinking to yourself, wow. And the audio design that goes along with it is great. Me personally being around these machines in real life all the time, I can attest that they hit the nail on the head. With a lot of those constant low hums of the engines, it almost makes it to where you can smell the diesel in real life. They do a very great job of painting a vivid picture of an actual construction site. The only thing they forgot to include is the 50-something-year-old men cussing and telling you how much you suck at your job. With that being said, the graphics and the audio design is a 9 out of 10. Performance. The performance was good, but not the greatest. Playing alone, I had only one issue here and there, and that was also when I was trying to use a bunch of assets at the same time, while also being in quality mode, as opposed to performance mode. So it really strained the limits of the PS5 that I was using. Now, where I ran into more problems was playing online. Usually with just one of my friends, it wasn't too bad. Occasionally you get some stutters or tears, but when we tried 4 players, it did happen more frequently. Now, it didn't happen so often that it ruined the experience or made it unplayable. It was definitely playable, but it's nothing that couldn't be fixed in the future. And there's definitely going to be a lot of DLC and support for this game coming soon. The performance is a 6 out of 10. Replayability. Now, replayability is a little harder to score, as some people will finish the game, do all the side missions, and be completely fine with never picking it up again. For me personally, I've already played at least the first 2 missions by myself all over again, just because it's that fun. You can approach things in different ways, you can plan out different routes, you can try for risky routes, you can come back with better equipment to try to manage things quicker. There's a lot of ways that the replayability factor is just dependent on your personal preferences. With that said though, there's definitely going to be DLC coming for this game. Unfortunately, if the track record follows from their previous games, none of these DLC packages will be free. It would be a pleasant surprise if they did release a good handful of them for free, but I can only go based off of what we know from the past. And since we can't determine that, and since we're only scoring the base game, we give the replayability an 8 out of 10. Innovation. While there isn't necessarily any groundbreaking innovation found in this game, It is definitely a step up from its predecessors, in terms of quality of life, multiplayer capabilities, graphics, and so on. It builds up upon an existing formula, and it is a safe bet for what they already know. It may not be groundbreaking, but it is fun. For innovation, 5 out of 10. Tallying up all the scores and weighing them according to their categories, based on the game that we are applying this to, we give RoadCraft a final pricing of $29 even. Because the game is priced at such a low price point compared to the average game, we are going to give it a little bit of extra credit, bringing its final total up to $31.50. Looking at this game, it's definitely not for everyone. However, it is a great deal for what it's marked at. There will inevitably be a lot of DLC, so that is something to keep in mind and something that we can revisit in the future to adequately give a better price once it's all out. However, the price it is right now for the base game, I would say, is close to fair. If you're hesitant, I would say wait for it to go on sale, but it is definitely worth the price, in my opinion. Thank you for watching, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my friends Bison and Miguel for helping provide some of the footage you've seen today. I'll link their channels down below where you can see us goof around in some of the games that we play for these videos. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you back at the next one.